Hi there, everyone. Hello, 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 hello. Um, what I want to say is, and I'm just going to keep it as real as I possibly can, but what I really wanted to say, besides saying hello, was, I want to suck your blood, blood. And that's the subject I'm digging. This is the vibe. And blood is the subject. You know, I lately I've just been listening to some information. I'm going to say stuff. And the reason I'm going to say stuff is because it's not all accurate. And so that's why information isn't really appropriate, because truth of the matter is that's not entirely correct. Why do people drink blood? What is it about blood that are used in ceremonies? I was listening to this, and then I was listening to San Gael. Then I was listening to Anunnaki, and Lilith was thrown in there. And from my understanding of it all, now I don't know everything, okay? I really don't. But what I do know is what I saw, what I was shown, what I asked, what I experienced, and what I've learned and will continue to do so. Okay, what is up with the blood? Why are they drinking all this blood? Hello, the answer is usually the obvious. For those who have been following this practice resurfacing, if you're following that and needing to understand, how can a mind be so warped and I mean, I'm not even going to say misunderstood, because it's understood. And we're also told, abstain from blood. Don't take it in. Keep away from yourself. Keep away from yourself. Now, I get that. I get that because of the fact that we're all born with the power of healing. And next to nobody acknowledges it. The reason is because we're born into an onslaught of lies. And the first lie is, that's completely take your focus away from what you're made up of and why you're here, to help you along your journey, versus look what you can have. It comes in pink, silver, gold, yellow, purple, blue, all different sizes as well. And the more you shine, well, then the more obvious you are. And the more obvious you are, the more desired you are. This is all programming. Okay? Okay, so what's up with the blood? Because it's, I mean, it's laid right out. And some crimes, I can't even bring my lips to talk about some of these crimes. It is a sad world when our faith is as primitive as a tribe or a blood that has not come across. I mean, they're out there. Okay, they eat their dead. They eat other human beings. They're cannibals. But I believe because of the time frame that they are set in, even though it's our, what is it, 2019, and soon to be 2020. I mean, that's going to be number 4 vibration. That's like conquer land, I mean, lots. Parental, earth sign. We can really play with that particular card. And the Emperor, the number 4 vibration. Okay. The blood. Well, like I said, if you have a faith, and if or you have come across the knowledge of this practice, which is all over the internet, and just can't get your head around it, like what is it, why would they do that, and why would that be implemented into a faith of any sort? Life is in that blood, no matter what the age. Life. Now, if it's bad blood, nobody wants any part of it, because bad blood brings about bad blood. That blood has life. That's where life is. Your life, right here in the now. Touchy, touchy, pokey, pokey. You're in your physical body, in this body that you've rented, that you borrowed, that you've created in order for you to experience what you would have liked to have experienced, having the opportunity to come incarnate on this earth and remember to do it right. That's the big deal. That's what everybody's biggest struggle. You know, because if you're a good person in this world, you're a dick. Like, explain that. So rather than touching on that, I can honestly say the answer is right there, because there is life in that blood. So they're thinking, young blood, well then, I guess I'll look younger, because it'll refresh me. It'll be unpolluted, untainted, no alcohol running through it, no drugs running through it, no this, no that. It is pure blood. That is why. Now, when Jesus spoke about this is my body, and this is my blood, and he referred the wine and the bread to that, because in that moment he was exercising the fact that he was being the sacrifice, the sacrificial lamb, the scapegoat for all the hate and all the desire to conquer and to rule. You know, they were pissed because he didn't handle the situation the way they thought he should have. And so for that reason, well, then you're a fake. You know? And I keep going back to, man, the guy really got rooked. Like, seriously, when you look at his actions, you figure you wouldn't do that today. You'd be like, what the? You know, WTH. Yeah, and then WTF. You know, like, seriously. So why the blood? That is why. Doesn't that make sense? And so for this, now the sad thing, and it is really sad, I've heard people close to me talk about it, discuss it, and not feel like there was something wrong with that. And I just couldn't help but shudder. I just couldn't help but shudder. You know, the reference is, look what they're doing. You know, the bread is the body, and we take a bite. You know, the wine is the blood, and we take a sip. And if you look at what is truly happening today, because we ask ourselves, who's the saints? When God talks about the saints, who are the saints? I believe the saints are the children. I do. I do, because they are all innocent. Yeah. So the other, okay, which is knowledge that I spin out as a question, really. I know it sounded weird. But this about Jesus being married and having had children, I'm going to say right off the hop, everybody gets it wrong, and they get it wrong for a reason. And that reason was the twisting of the church that did it. In one of my past videos, I actually recollected something that I feel so honored knowing. It doesn't matter how many people throw stones. It doesn't matter how many people say false prophet, misinformation, she's on drugs, like I myself, I know I'm being real. I know I'm being solid, and I know what it is that I'm rolling out on you. I know that. But facts are facts. What reason would I have? I'm either completely Looney Tunes. You think I'm getting paid for this? Nada. Not a red cent. It is about giving true information. And, okay, what makes what I say true? Just keep alert. Take the message in. Keep alert. If it happens to be proof in the pudding, well, then I guess you know, right? And then run with it. As long as at one point you pick up and run with it, that's what matters. That's what matters. Is that at some point if you pick up and run with it, that's the most important. So, royal blood. Well, you know what? Of course. Sangrael, royal blood. I mean, isn't that obvious? Okay. He is Lord. He's king. He's king. That was bestowed on him due to his selflessness and his ability to truly love unconditionally. Nobody would do it. Nobody would do it. What he went through, nobody would do it. I mean, that's insane. Big balls of iron and all those spikes, that's insane. That's insane. That's nuts. And so the royal blood, they wanted to kill it. They wanted it right out of here. Get it out of here. Off the face of the earth. And that's because, Lucy is sending a message of share, share, share. Everything's even. Everything is equal. Nada. Listen, nada. That's why all the technology, it's like this, they're building a cover. And this way you'll never be able to hear God. You'll be trapped. So what you have to do is allow yourself at any given moment not to judge anything, just hear and take it in and see what happens. So this whole about the female menstrual, you bring in, these female gods and the moon and this and that, and when did the Bible run with any of that? Yes, it's there from the very beginning, but you're going right off the word, and the meaning is now becoming diluted. And it can't be that way, because if it's diluted love, isn't that what our problem is to begin with? Diluted love? Isn't that why we're on the internet? There's people out there. You're not lonely. Everybody's looking for love. Everybody's looking for acceptance. Everybody's looking to interact. Is that not the way it is? Yes. So if you keep an open mind, truly an open mind, the truth is right out there. It's right there in front of you. The most obvious, always right there. Always right there. Always. Yep. Okay, so I really want you to think about that. I really would like for you to think about that, and the reason is I'm going, did I fall off here? You know, was I going somewhere with this, and I'm now going, I feel like I need to wrap this up because I made my point and I thought I brought it home. Maybe. Yeah. You know, it is about a positive message, and it is about the reality of God and the reality of trust and the reality of faith. We all say we have faith until our faith is challenged. And I'm not kidding. You know, I'm not immune. You know, believe you me. Oh my goodness. Totally. But we are at crucial times. And if things aren't said now, they're never going to be said. That's by me. If I don't say anything now, in the time frame that I'm in the situation, like my, you know, what my life is transpired into, has completely changed. I see bridges where there were none. I see opportunities that might not be so distant. But the main thing out of all of it, is every word I tell you is the truth. None of it is a lie. Not one. Yeah. And there's a reason for that. Is because as we are challenged, because we are going to be challenged, we are, you know, all that we see, like no one, you know, and this is another video, you know, and this other video is going to be about a wake-up call. I'm not a prophet of gloom and doom like I've been accused, but I am going to tell people that psychologically they need to be prepared. They need to understand what makes a man, what makes a woman. Humans need to understand the process, because that process doesn't have such a firm foundation the way it did, say, in the 50s. 40s, 50s, 60s. That was a whole new genre in the 60s. You know, family values were where it was at. If you know, if a guy had a tattoo, you know, somewhere on his arms, there would be the word mom. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I remember. And it was cool. That was what every guy wanted, that tat, because it meant that you were upright. Yes. And that's what we need to get back to. We need to get back to a place where we are going to give opportunity to something being a possibility. Yes. So why the young blood? Why would they do something like that? Because they really truly believe. And that's where they get, you know, people are saying that people that do that, they believe that they're going to live longer and so on and so forth. Okay, it doesn't just necessarily have to do with prolonging your life. It has to do with enriching the life you are living. And if you are abusing your physical body, well, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that you're going to have ailments and slow down. and obstacles that make you slow down. You know, when you should have all this enthusiasm and curiosity and ambition that needs to, fill or replace those words and those gaps. And the only thing that's going to do that is positive words. So how do we get there if we're looking at a future that is gloom and doom? Well, how I think is, when we get there, if I'm alive and I keep my kids and my grandkids alive, that's good enough for me. That's all I want to do. And if I can share the truth, so then I am extending the same opportunity to them. Okay, that's really cool. Opportunity to them, then they will do the same. So all of a sudden, you are looking at 100 or more people that have an opportunity for salvation, that have the right opportunity, and they could be sure-footed, knowing a path, because they would have understood their existence, what their purpose is in this lifetime. And people really miss it. They miss it. Apparently, being alive isn't enough. For me, it's enough to know I'm going to live, and who I love are going to live. To me, that's a gift. Seriously. And. I mean, I don't want to, put that out there, but I do have a conversation between myself and God and my Lord, and I do remember, and I thought, how old am I? And the good thing, I was still talking about the Lord. So what that tells me is I got some work to do, and I'm beginning here. Yeah. So what's with the blood? Now, this goddess, the Grail, okay, what all that's about is because the Mary that gave birth to Jesus was really a virgin. Okay? Seriously. And, gentlemen, you haven't had a child. Women that you have had a child, as well as I know, that your earth, your sky cracks in half. So this is what the Grail is because she gave birth and conceived while being untouched by any man. She was still a virgin. And so through time, okay, and yes, women should be honored. Definitely. But in that department, again, I see it being all mixed up, and it's in a pot, and it's all mixed up, and what they're going to find that it's not going to be able to come together. Even as a soup, it's not going to be able to come together because the ingredients aren't correct. And they seem to, know a couple of female names and give it a good run to see how maybe it fit, it did or didn't, and misinformation comes along. So, is there a holy grail? Yes, absolutely. I've mentioned it before. I remember as I was coming back down to earth, I was sitting on a window ledge, and as I was coming back down, I saw the golden cup. And then I was asked again and again, will you remember? Will you remember? Will you remember? And I kept saying, I will, even to the point that I went backwards. I went back up and I said, I believe, trust me, I will. I've got some really serious ectoplasm going on here. You know, I'm looking going, I don't have a cigarette anywhere, you know, and I'm like, you know, see it once or twice, but I'm pretty sure you can see that it's getting my attention here. And I think it's wonderful. I'll be really honest with you, because we are talking about the Lord and love and unconditional love, and why the blood? Why are people, you know, masks in blood, bathing in blood, drinking blood? Human flesh all of a sudden became popular, and you know, I'm sure you can go to LA and order a couple of butt steaks and literally get butt steaks. No doubt about it. Not for me, thank you. But that it's really happening in the here and in the now, and the better understanding you have of the knowledge that is around you, the easier it is to write it out. Period. Okay, so now why the blood? So moving forward, and watching different videos and whatever else like that, you know, if they try to fluff it up and turn it into this big mystical, you know, doodad, you know, the only mystical thing that happened here was an out and out miracle. It wouldn't have been able to happen. It had to come from heaven, heavenly bodies. That's the only way that would happen. How does a virgin conceive and then give birth? Like, holy guacamole Batman. And oh, by and by, okay, there are, like I was saying, there's different Marys, there's different Marthas. Super important that you keep everybody in their character. Now, what makes it difficult in those days, everybody named their first child, male or female, after a boy, he would have his father's name. A girl, she would have her mother's name. So when laying out a genealogy or an experience, now that information is gone. That reference. Why was that person called Mary? Why was that person called Elizabeth? So Mary's mother's name would have been Mary. And that is how stories also get mixed up as to who's who. Yes. So why was that blood so important? It's got nothing to do with Lucifer and this and that. They perverted the shit out of it, is what they did. And it's your job not to buy the wool, not to buy the crap. That's it. You gotta do your work. If you want good karma and you really want to understand what is really going on, okay, you'll take a second and you'll listen. Seriously. And from here, like I said, it's the proof in the pudding. You know, the power of the mind is huge. But we're sucked, you know, we're sucked into different dimensions and never being certain enough, because we're not filled up with ammo, because we don't know real facts, real truths. You know, like I've said, why Jesus? Yeah. So this blood business, that's the reason why. Yes. The purity of it. So if you have an ailment, you know, that blood will help your body heal. Because It is young. It is pure. It has no toxin in it. It doesn't have any sin. That blood is innocent. You know, yes, shame. Shame on them. You know, that's just my opinion. I'm allowed my opinion. I'm not judging. This is no hate, nothing, or anything else like that. I just think it is a crying shame. That's all. You know, you can get all that without. I mean, if that's your thing to drink blood, and you know you do eat human flesh, like that Santa Fe video on Netflix. That's friggin' hysterical. If you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. That's really funny. I mean, a little like whoa, but funny all the same. Just hate to think that that could be a reality. Myself is my preference. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up, and let's take that picture out of our minds. It is really funny. I mean, like, okay, I'm a little warped maybe, but you know, some of it is funny. I have to give it that, you know, because I just can't see it being a reality, even though I know it is. I practice a different religion. My religion's called truth. It's truth time. Okay, like, share, you know what you do. You can subscribe. And this is by the blood, blah. They want your blood. Oh yes. See, me being a smoker, this is really lame. But it would be my blood they'd look for at last. Yeah. You know, so that's trying to find a silver lining before I completely quit. So it encourages me to completely quit. Okay, I love you. Thanks for stopping by. And now you know why that blood is sacred. Absolutely. And this is Digging the Mind. John Money. I'm digging. I want to suck your blood. Oh, we're still running. Blah!